What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL here with another movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about Sinners, the newest film written and directed by Ryan Coogler. I know I am late talking about this movie. This film came out a few weeks ago, but I definitely wanted to give my 2 cents on this film because I have a lot to say about it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into Sinners. So I'm a big fan of Ryan Coogler. I think he's slowly starting to become one of the great film auteurs of today. I've enjoyed the majority of the projects he's worked on. I loved Fruitvale Station. I loved what he did with the first Creed film. And probably his biggest success is Black Panther in the MCU. So yeah, he's been really good. I've been anticipating pretty much everything that he comes out with. Um, However, he also directed Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I was very disappointed with Wakanda Forever. Granted, because the first Black Panther was one of my favorite MCU films, one of my favorite comic book films, and I know it was very difficult to follow up the first Black Panther, especially after Chadwick Boseman's passing. But I felt like there was a lot of decisions made in Wakanda Forever that I just didn't agree with and made me very frustrated. And one of the biggest missteps is them not recasting the character of T'Challa after Chadwick Boseman's passing. They're pretty much just writing his character out completely and having somebody else take on the mantle. I didn't agree with that. That was probably the first disappointment I had from Ryan. But not to say that it was a badly made film, but just like that was the first film that I was kind of disappointed with. So I mean, still was looking forward to seeing what he'll do next, but some stuff was tainted with me regarding his recent work. But but hearing that he's gonna take a little break from the MCU and work on a different project, I was all for that. I think it's probably good for him to actually branch out and do some original stuff because he's been working on established franchises for a while. And I've been saying for the longest time, and I'm sure a lot of people have said that there's not enough original films that are being highlighted. Of course, there are plenty of original films being made. I know there's some people that think that people don't make enough original films, and that's not true. Honestly, there's more original films being made than already existing franchises. It's just they don't get the attention that the big blockbusters and the already established uh, franchises do. But with Ryan making an original project, hopefully that will give it more of a chance for it to be marketed better, and people actually coming out to see it. But hearing that he wanted to work on a horror film, uh, I thought, okay, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that Ryan Coogler was even interested in doing something like that. But I was definitely looking forward to it. And once again, he was going to get Michael B. Jordan to star in the film, which obviously I'm cool with that because I love Michael B. Jordan. I think he's great. And then also hearing that Haley Steinfeld was going to be in the movie as well. Um, I was very excited about that as well. I'm a big fan of Haley Steinfeld. Kind of a Marvel reunion going on right there. Killmonger and Kate Bishop. And there's a few other names that I recognized that I was looking forward to seeing them in the film, like Wanami Mosaku. I hope I said her name correctly. Omar Benson Miller, Delroy Lindo. So the cast looks pretty good here. So when I first saw the trailers for this film, um, it looked pretty interesting. It was very creepy. It was very atmospheric. What I actually liked about the first trailer was that it wasn't giving anything away. I honestly didn't even know what the movie was about, in a good way. It was really setting up the tension and the atmosphere for that film. It looked like it was going to be a period piece, um, And yeah, whatever the threat was going to be in the film, the movie did a good job not giving that away, at least for the couple trailers that we've seen. And for a while, I didn't even know that this was supposed to be a vampire film. I think that's okay to say because this movie's been out for a while and people have been talking about it a lot. So I don't think I'm spoiling it at this point, uh, especially also because the trailers ended up giving that away. But the first couple trailers, I didn't even know it was supposed to be a vampire movie. And honestly, I wish that we didn't know it was a vampire movie until people actually saw it in theaters. Um, I really think the vampire stuff could have been saved because when they actually started showing stuff in the later marketing, I was like, oh man, because like I said, the first couple trailers did a good job keeping that mystery of like what was it. It was so ominous. It was so, like I said, the tension was really good, and I think it already sold a lot of people that they were going to see this movie, especially hearing that Ryan Coogler was going to do it, and Michael B. Jordan's in it, and Haley Steinfeld's in it. So it's like the movie was already, marketed pretty well. I didn't even think they had to give it away. That would have been a nice surprise for the actual film. But regardless, I was still excited to see it. Like Ryan Coogler doing a vampire film. Who would have thought, right? I'm really interested to see what his take would be on this type of genre. Didn't think Ryan Coogler would be interested in something like that, but I was very excited to see it. Yes, I had my apprehensions after Wakanda Forever, but I really tried my best not to let that whole deter my excitement for this because it looked really good, and it's something that he's making, and it's not something that he's not already working on something established. This is 100% an original film that he's written, and obviously the idea of vampires aren't original, but probably his take would be very original. So I'm excited to see that regardless. And after watching it, I know I might be putting my cart before the horse, and we're still in halfway through 2025, but almost halfway anyway. But I'm already confident to say that this is the best film of the year for me. It is, and I know I haven't seen everything this year so far, but this film is so great. I I love this film. It's so good. Um, and I'm actually glad that people are talking about this film. Like it has great reviews right now. Let's see real quick. What does it have? It has right now. It's currently sitting at a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb. Um, and it's doing decent at the box office, and it's good because like the movie doesn't cost a whole lot of money. I think it only has like a $90 million budget. And let me look up the box office real quick. The box office for Sinners is made around 280 million worldwide. Um, so I think it possibly has a chance to make a profit. But I say all that to say that I'm actually glad that this movie is getting attention because this film, like what Ryan Coogler did with this movie, felt so unique and something that we needed now when it comes to like just the movie going experience. Um, this he did such a good job with well, I'll even say this, the vampire stuff, because that's what people were taking away a lot from it, was like it's a vampire movie. He did a really good job with the vampire stuff. I was very impressed. Um like I didn't think Ryan Coogler was into horror that much. I didn't see him as a guy like that, but like it felt as refreshing as when I saw Get Out for the first time. When I didn't think that Jordan Peele, I didn't know how to feel about Jordan Peele going into psychological thrillers, and that ended up being fantastic. It was a similar thing with that. Um, this was masterfully written and masterfully directed by Ryan Coogler. Um, I argue to say this is probably one of, if not his best film that he's made. Um, I'm not even joking about that. I probably have to sit on it because there might be recency bias, but I don't know, man. I just loved how this movie was made. I love how well crafted it is. I love the story. The characters were really good, and most importantly, while yes, there's vampires in it, it's not mainly about vampires. It doesn't really even become a vampire movie till towards the third act. What was really impressive about this movie was the stuff that happened before the vampire stuff was in here. Like, it was just telling a regular story that was honestly just as engaging, if not more engaging than the vampire stuff. Even though the vampire stuff was fun, but like, this movie actually had really well made, really well crafted. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Really well crafted themes. Like, it was telling a really good story. It had a really good allegory. Like, dude, this movie touched on racism. This touched on um integration. This talked about just there's some stuff with the KKK. Um, just like there was so many really good messages they put in this movie that I did not expect. Because the main story was these twins, both played by Michael B. Jordan, that's trying to start a what was it, like a dance club, whatever. Um, and like that's the main bulk of the story, is these twins actually trying to start yeah, it's called the Juke Joint. And they have a history of you know committing crimes in Chicago, and so they moved to a different land to start a new life and stuff like that. And they're recruiting these different people that they know to start this juke joint. And I thought all that stuff was actually pretty interesting to watch. Some people may argue that it's a little slow. For people that already know it's a vampire movie, like some people will say that the first three quarters of the film, it's like they're getting you probably will feel a little antsy. But I think the first three acts did a good job with just establishing the story and the characters and the world that they're building with the just with the plantations, and just the environments, the neighborhood, the people. Like, I was actually just as engaged with the character stuff just as I was with the stuff that happens with the vampires. um like, it was very compelling. I thought the way they developed the characters were really good. Michael B. Jordan playing these set of twins, Smoke and Stack, it was very convincing. Obviously, it took a minute because that's Michael B. Jordan playing two different people. But as the movie went on, like, I actually bought him playing two different people, these set of twins, and obviously the effects of two Michael B. Jordans there, it was seamless. Like, I was never taken out by it. Um, but yeah, Michael B. Jordan, I think, dude, this is one of his best performances I've seen in a long time. And I'm going to be saying this a lot in this review, but I do think that he should be nominated for an Oscar. There's a lot of, I think this movie should be nominated for a lot of Oscars. I'm going to say up front that I think this movie should be nominated for Best Picture. I really think it does. This movie is fantastic. They really need to acknowledge this film, and I feel like they're not going to, because it's vampires. So the Oscars like to put certain movies in a box, like so I don't see horror films being nominated at the Oscars, so it's probably going to be overlooked, or it's probably this movie came out too early in the year for them to even acknowledge it. All the BS we've heard before. But seriously, when I say this is probably one of the best films of the year, I'm very serious. Like, me even reviewing it is not going to give it justice. Um, but anyway, I thought the rest of the characters were really good. Haley Steinfeld as Mary. This is also one of her best performances. I was already a Haley Steinfeld fan, but her role in this movie actually took it over the moon for me. Um, Wunmi Mosaku, I thought she was great. Um, I keep forgetting. Was she in The Woman King? I don't. She may have been, but I'm not sure. I only saw the movie once, like a while ago. So the only thing I remember her in was in the Ultimate Cut of Batman v Superman, and I thought she was pretty solid in that. Not a huge role in that, but she did pretty decent. So I'm happy to see her again, and she was also great. There's a love there's kind of a love interest thing going on between her and Smoke, and I thought that stuff was very compelling. And that she also one of the people that helps the twins start up the juke joint and stuff like that, along with Omar Benson Miller's character Cornbread, who's supposed to be like the bouncer or the security for the juke joint. I thought he was really good. He had some funny moments in the film as well. So I thought he was good. Another probably one of the biggest standouts too was the Michael B. Jordan, which I didn't even expect, was Delroy Lindo as Delta. Um, Dude, he was hilarious. He was absolutely hilarious. Every time he was, every time he had interactions with the other characters, every time he was having his own shtick and stuff like that, I thought he was stealing the movie almost from Michael B. Jordan. He just has such wit and such charisma. So he was probably one of the biggest surprises here. I enjoyed every scene that he was in. And then we have Miles Canton as Sammy, who actually also plays a really important role in the film. I'm not going to spoil that either for people that haven't seen it, but I see this being a film that helps bring Miles Canton into the mainstream. I thought he did a really good job. I see him getting more roles in the future after this, especially when he has to act off of people like Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld and Delroy Lindo. He holds his own, and he's actually a really good singer. Yeah, he plays the what was it the guitar, tambourine, whatever it is, and he actually sings in the film, and he actually sings really well. Also, what I didn't expect with this film was that it was talking about the evolution of music when it comes to the Black community and how music has evolved over the years, and that ends up being something important when it comes to handling the vampire stuff. There was one specific scene where they were going through the evolution of music that probably, I know some people thought it probably took them out of the film, that whole sequence, and it took me off guard at first as well. But as the scene went on, I thought that was a masterfully done sequence, and this is why I feel like this feels like a real auteur film. It feels like something that Ryan Coogler put his foot into. Like, this is why we need more original films like this from really good auteurs like Ryan Coogler, because like you won't see anything like this, in other films. Like, it really feels like his stamp. It really feels like his vision. And like I said, I do understand if that sequence took people out, but I don't know. I feel like it was Ryan's creative way of telling the story, even though it is a period piece, because it does bring in some current stuff and other generations of things that doesn't fully line up with the period piece that they're setting the movie into. But I thought it was great. Now, the actual vampire stuff, that, like I said, I still thought that stuff was really cool. I thought that was exciting. There's some stuff that reminded me of like some stuff I would see from Quentin Tarantino film. So I definitely think that Tarantino I mean, I do think that Coogler is a Tarantino fan. When I'm watching certain direction and like the way he handled the blood and the action and the gore and stuff like that, yeah, he definitely has an eye for that. Coogler does. And I thought all that stuff was really pulpy, and it was it was some camp here and there. Um, and the action scenes were directed really well, and I could also tell he took some stuff that he learned from Black Panther and applied it here as well. Um, Probably my only like, I wouldn't even say this is an issue, but I would say the reason why like the vampire stuff, while it was exciting, it wasn't as, I don't think it was as good as the stuff before then, because for one thing, the stuff before the vampire stuff and the stuff with the juke joint and then the stuff with the vampire stuff, it almost felt like Coogler was trying to put two different movies in here. Um, and like I said, I feel like the juke joint stuff, I think the pacing, that part of the movie was better than the stuff with the vampires. And I thought them developing the characters in the first three acts was very compelling. But I think there was a purpose with them spending so much time with that, because by the time the vampire stuff does happen, then you'll be more invested in the characters and actually rooting for them to escape and defeat the vampires. So there was a purpose towards that. But it's like it almost felt like this movie didn't even need to be a vampire film, you know. Um, like this could have just been a period piece. It could have been just like a crime drama, something like that. Dealing with the KKK and other stuff like that. But I actually admire that Coogler wanted to mix genres here. Even with the vampire stuff, they were mixing that stuff with the KKK, which I thought I definitely saw the themes there. I definitely saw what messages that Coogler was trying to put. Some stuff may come off heavy-handed. I definitely could see that, but I still thought it was very well done. But yeah, man, it's like, this is why I say this is a film that we really needed right now, because like this is so unique. It has a lot to say, and I really wish that if people see this film, that they would look past the fact that it's a vampire movie, because there is so much more that this movie tells outside the vampire stuff. Like I said, it's like it's touching on racism, it's touching on integration, it's talking about the music, is talking about just the black community as a whole, and just them making their own community and having their own like traditions and having their own culture, and just the appropriation of other races coming in, and it's just like other stuff like that. It's just like, it actually spoke to a lot of people on that level. It definitely spoke to me as a black man. But yeah, like the vampire stuff was fun. But I just hope people can see it for more than just being a vampire film. It even touched on some stuff with religion as well. Obviously, with the vampire stuff in there, you would expect the religion stuff to be touched on, but even that I thought was done pretty well. Like some stuff was subtle and some stuff was heavy-handed for sure, but I still thought the way it was crafted for the most part was really good. So overall, you got to see this film. Like I said, me even doing a review is not doing it justice. Like, it's just, if you are a fan of Ryan Coogler, you're a fan of period pieces, you're a fan of vampire movies, I definitely think you should see this. But even if you're just a fan of movies in general, this is a movie that you do got to see. Like I said, I think this is one of Ryan Coogler's best films. I thought all the performances were really good, from Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Delroy Lindo. All of them were done. The performances were really good. I love the themes and allegories and messages in this movie. The first three acts actually, I thought was just as engaging as the stuff with the vampires. And I thought the vampire stuff was really exciting when we got to that. Yeah, just all of this, I didn't think it would mix as well as it did. But yeah, he nailed it. I really hope this movie gets recognized. I hope it makes enough money to make it profitable. This definitely will be a statement for people that that want more original films to be highlighted. This is definitely a textbook example, and I definitely am interested in seeing more original stuff from Ryan Coogler. Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what else he will do with Black Panther and what other franchises he decides to go on to do. But I don't know. I feel like I'm slowly starting to be more interested in what other original stuff he plans to do, because this movie was just that good to me. So I'm giving Sinners an A. One other side note too. Marvel, if you need somebody to do Blade, I don't even think he would want to do Blade, but seeing what he did with vampires in this film, I think you need to have a conversation with Ryan Coogler and see what he would do with the Blade film and get it off the ground. I doubt that's going to happen. Like I said, he probably doesn't even want to do it, but it really isn't that hard to do a vampire movie in the MCU. This should be a simple thing for y'all to figure out, but for some reason, y'all are just having the toughest time. And Mahershala Ali is probably going to be 72 years old by the time you actually get a Blade film up and going. So really, it wouldn't hurt to see what Ryan Coogler would pitch for a Blade film, because I think he would knock it out of the park after seeing this film. But those are my thoughts on Sinners. What did you guys think about it? If you guys have seen it, did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Are you excited to see more original stuff from Ryan Coogler? Does this get you more excited to see him go back to other franchises like Black Panther? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. Oh, one other thing before I close this out. I don't think I want to see a sequel to this. I know that people like say that they want to see a continuation from it, but I think this should really stand on its own. You know, it's a really good self-contained story. So it just really people just need to. Yeah, I don't know. I get people's enthusiasm for it because this is a great film, but it's like not every movie has to turn into a franchise. You know. Also, stay behind for the credit scenes, because I would say the ending of this film isn't truly the ending of this movie. The credit scenes actually help to properly bookend the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about if you guys haven't seen it already. But watch the credit scenes because I think they're very pivotal to the movie. You know, because the initial ending isn't exactly the real ending of the film. So yeah. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to yeah, I can't even talk today. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you, Ryan Coogler fans, and I will catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.